Good evening, everyone. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I have sad news that our solicitor and tree guru won't be making it this evening. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said sad news. I may have well thought like something bad. No, Anthony won't be making it this evening. He's occupied with 3 other meetings, and there's 3 lawyers, 4 meetings. So we, I hope, won't need any legal advice while discussing the planting of trees at Burrs Hill Park. So this is a great opportunity that we have, and I'd like to introduce Robin Avila. And this is Robin Avila, Bob Avila's daughter, and she plays into this because she read the article that was written about my proposal that the council supported on the creation of an arboretum at Burrs Hill Park. And she called me up, emailed me, and said that she would like to sponsor the trees, the cost of the trees. And it's through her father's foundation. And with the council's approval tonight, I would like to propose in the form of a motion that at next week's meeting, we dedicate this arboretum to Bob Avila.
So moved.
Is this appropriate time to take a vote on it?
Oh, it is. This is a council meeting.
Second. No, I second, excuse me.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that will be on next week's agenda. And yeah, this is a big deal. This is a big deal because I was thinking of how many things we do that grow in time and impact the future. Maybe a school, a hospital, a grove of trees. The best time to plant a tree, as we all know, is 10 years ago. So the real fruits of our labor will be in the future. And I am hoping that these will grow and beautify the town and shade the people at the park and change the atmosphere there of just a dry dust bowl. It's been a great ball field. It's been a great location for the COG Festival, which Mr. Avila was a huge part of for 50 years, probably. And I just think it's the best thing we can do to connect ourselves spiritually with that burial ground and the a positive impact of the future. So that being said, I'd like to introduce our tree warden, and I'd like to introduce Chuck Staten, the head of our tree commission, and they're going to give us already, I would probably say 50 to 100 hours of time has been put into this, and they've met. They have a few proposals. They're going to tell us what they think of the appropriate trees to be planted there. And then my idea was to break into groups, and I have aerial photographs of the park, and we were going to have a charrette and create our own. But seeing that there's so few people here, I think we're going to go, and I'll ask my counsel if it's okay with you, to go with probably what you're presenting us, and then see how the room feels about your proposal. And the rec board has already put in time on this, and they've given us their approval on location. So it'll be the infield of the ball field up to second base, even with the flagpole, and it'll go on a diagonal towards the small, what do we call that? Small little pavilion roof type structure in front of the tennis courts. So it's a pretty big area, and I think we'll let you two have the floor.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me tonight. Dream come true to create an arboretum. I've created other ones in yards. I've been to them all across the country. It's kind of the thing I do as the voice of the forest. And I travel around this country and try to promote forest. So coming to Warren, it's been really fun. It's so historic and it's a place you can make a difference. And so I put this little arboretum, this little PowerPoint together. I want to go through it with the help of Jessica. So we are looking at a picture a long time ago at the park. It's still kind of like that down there. The park is a special place when you go there, even though it is a dusty place. Every time I go, it's being used.
Okay.
And people love it. And the waterfront's very special. It's historic. There were ships built there. There's still quite a few trees. We're working across. I want to put 3 trees in there. So we'll go to the next one. Arboretum. That's what we're creating. The first arboretum in Warren, Rhode Island. There is one that's world famous, Blythe Wold, right in Bristol. We also have Mount Hope Farm. That's where I am in that walk. I lead tree walks throughout the United States. That one I did recently in the last month. An arboretum is a botanical collection composed exclusively of trees and shrubs, a variety of species. So what we do is we go in and create our little arboretum where people can go and be with the trees, study the trees. We put signage in, and also through that you can shrubs. We also put in art and even music that can go with these places.
Let me just
Go ahead.
interrupt once. The charity that we're receiving is for the trees specifically.
Okay. Yes. Oh, the trees are the number one. That's part of the arboretum.
Correct. I just,
But I'm just saying the future of this, it's the beginning. Okay. And I want everybody to be involved. I want it to be a town. We'll go to the next one. This is a primary proposal to create Warren's first arboretum at historic and sacred Birds Hill Park. I am looking for resident volunteers for the community to help with the design, planting, planning, inventory, and presentation of the project. Planting will begin now in October. It's very important to plant trees in October and November in Rhode Island because the roots grow all winter because we have rainfall and snow. And roots grow more in the winter on the hardwood forest, the New England forest, which I know a lot about, in the winter. So when spring and summer comes, you have to water less, they're established. If you put the trees in the spring and the summer, it's really hard to get going, especially right now, we're in a drought. So we want to work, my plan is to work this mid-October with volunteer groups at the park. If not, we'll go in there with volunteer with my little tree company, and Chuck said we would do what we can.
we'll get it done.
Yeah, we're going to get it done. Work this fall will include planting, mapping. We've already started mapping. You did a great job on that map. Trees will be planted 40 feet apart. We try to do 40 feet because when they grow, they get huge. If you put them too close together, it can be a problem. So I want citizens of all ages. I want parents with their little kids. I want people that were here for their whole lives. I want the firemen, the police, everybody. We did it in Central Falls, and let me tell you, one day we did it and the whole town came. It was one of the greatest days. So there's not a big crowd tonight, but I think there could be a good crowd. Legacy of New England, fall color. We live in New England, the greatest forest region on earth with color. People come right now from all over the world, land here in New England, and get in their cars and go throughout New England to see the fall color. It's a multi-million-dollar tourism budget, tourism economic development.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
We're not going to be raking leaves, right? We'll be chopping and mulching.
Yeah, we'll chop them up, mulch them.
Thank you.
Okay, see, you know your stuff. Okay, we'll go to the next one. Okay, these are some of the trees that I would like to see planted. We have a red maple that will be at the entrance. You want to tell us about that, where we're having the 250th anniversary?
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Tara, do you know about this?
Yeah.
About where the tree got blown down in the storm at the entrance to the parking lot? So we were thinking, with your approval, that would be the best spot because of the plaque. And you can tell us what we're talking about. It's going to go in that
I
spot.
think you told him the whole story.
Well, no, I mean-
Mr. Di Pascali.
Yeah.
The Warren 4th of July Committee has applied for a grant to have the money to put together a commemorative sign similar to the one that's already at Burrs Hill, and the oyster sign and the armory sign that would go along with the red maple, which the state is donating to every town in the state. So we won't get it until April, I'm afraid. But we know the tree for sure is coming, and we'll know soon whether we got the funding for the plaque, which is actually funded by the state too. So that sounds great.
Thank you.
Let's hear it for it.
Thank you.
State tree. No, so red maple is our state tree, Rhode Island state tree. It's gonna be in a prominent spot when you enter the park. And there'll be signage right there that explains everything. So I didn't know it was not coming till April, but that's okay. We can leave a spot for it.
Okay, great. Yeah, we talked about Rhode Island red maple, Acer rubrum, our state tree, but it's the most common tree in the eastern United States. So it grows throughout our forest. There's red maple, pure red maple stands. They can grow in uplands. They can grow in water. They're very fascinating. I've studied the Everglades. I'm studying a big forest in the Everglades for one of my life's mission works. And guess what's in that forest? Red maples. So they grow all the way from Canada down there. We're going to go to tree 3, willow. We had a willow that was an old one that fell or was cut down because it was on the waterfront. We have 3 trees, correct?
Yes, we have 3 willows
That we're going to put in as part of
we've
this
already
planting.
purchased, and they're at my shop, and we're ready to plant. Well, the highway department's gonna plant it at the beach. 3 of them at the
We
beach.
can help.
Well,
Okay,
yes,
Lynn,
so-
okay. Linden is the bee tree. This is what the Amish make the honey with. We have one as you leave the parking lot, go into the field. We have one on one side and one missing. We're going to put one in there. And that's, this is a discussion. We have Tupelo on either side of the stadium steps, we call them. Or is that what they call that? The stadium steps?
Bleachers.
Tupelo is a very rare forest swamp tree that has great color. We have them, they can grow in ages up to 700 years old. So I'm trying to put trees into this park that will be there for a long time. Sugar maple, the state tree of Vermont, New York, and other places behind the stadium steps. That's the color tree. They can take a little shade, grow for long periods. We can even tap them maybe someday and make sugar syrup for Warren. White oak on the edge of the basketball court. White oaks are the shipbuilding oak. When they get older, they're the biggest wildlife legacy tree. More wildlife and insects and birds go to that tree than any other species, especially when they're old. So they're very special. We have a swamp white oak and a regular white oak. The state tree of Connecticut. Collection of tree species is home run fence. I put this in because I had an email from one of the guys that wanted to save the stadium. It was just an idea that they had. I wanted to look at all ideas tonight. So my idea was to put a row of American hornbeams, which are small fence-like, for the home run. But I think there's not a lot of room.
Well, the rec board,
Has agreed to.
they didn't like that idea. So
Okay.
the reason the rec board came in with I don't want to use the word like and dislike. They're in full
Right.
favor of planting trees.
Right.
It was the location. So in front of the hills, they felt would be very difficult to protect with the sledding.
Okay.
Because the little kids go down there and it doesn't matter how much snow, they're down there.
Right.
They sled in the mud. And so we don't want to go against the rec board.
Right.
And the other locations that you talked about behind the stadium steps, we agreed on that one as well, because that is an agreed upon pathway that was required when we received the grant for the bathrooms and concession stand.
Okay.
So you might have remembered, you put together that great
Right.
proposal before we saw Tara's recommendations. And then they happily had no problem filling the entire infield, all the way up to second baseline. And I look at this as what we're doing while we're alive. I think in the future, you'll have other people looking at what's there, and who knows, they may decide to continue planting the whole field, who knows? But as of now, I see no reason to go against the recommendations of the rec board and get these trees in the ground.
Yeah, and I really want Tara to be part of this because she's really smart. And she's very, very passionate about
And she
her
owns a
job.
chainsaw.
She
so-
loves her job. No, her father's a real farmer in this town. And I really want her to work with us. I think she will. And she had some great ideas when she came.
Yeah.
I was planting trees near the courts and didn't think, what about the roots when they hit the courts? And then they raise everything. There was a few things that she did that right there, you're on the committee. So we really want her on board. She's real important to this project. We'll keep going. American hornbeam, that's a tree we don't know about that grows in the understory in New England. It's kind of got muscles like a weightlifter. They stay small. We got elm, the state tree of Mass. They have hybrid elms now that grow that you can put in with the American elm, died of Dutch elm disease. The only problem with that, we have to really be careful where we put them because they get so large. Their canopies spread. That tree will grow really fast. In 5 years, you'll have big tree in that area. Tulip
right.
poplar, another one that I picked. The biggest trees in the east, they're the redwoods of the east. I have one in Kentucky that's 258 feet tall and 28 feet around. So we have to see where these go in, but they're great. They have tulip flower leaves. So these are some of the ones in the infield area or in that area. American holly, this one that I wanted to think about. American holly, the state tree of Delaware. They grow naturally here. Little Compton has the tallest ones in North America and Jamestown. And in these forests, there was hollies. So they're really pretty. They have different little holly berries. We have male and a female. So we want to think about diversity of what we're planting. River birch, it's not a big fan of mine. I mean, they grow south. They grow in the Northeast. But I wanted to have the state trees. And I think white birch, which I would love to put in, they have a hard time growing. They don't live long. So maybe we'll switch that. We can talk about this as we go. White oak and swamp white oak. We'll go to the next one. State trees of New England. We'll just go right through. You know, I always quiz you guys on that. White oak, Maine, Massachusetts, elm, New Hampshire, white birch. Maybe we can put a few in there. They need complete sunlight. Vermont, sugar maple, Rhode Island, red maple. Native oaks, red, white, black. Now I searched big trees and I became very famous doing that. I've been in magazines. Well, guess what I found this summer in West Warwick? I own a tree company. I go to a call. It's up against a very kind of a rundown old neighborhood in West Warwick, the old mill building, up against a cliff. A black oak, 28 feet, 4 inches in circumference. That is probably one of the biggest oaks in North America. So it goes to show you what we're planting, but what's out there. Okay. I get excited about trees. Rare native trees. We've already done a lot of that list. American hop hornbeam is another one that we could think about. Hickory. Oh, there's species of hickories that grow here. Evergreens. I would like to put in maybe a component of evergreens, maybe down the road. You know, we have Atlantic white cedar, which are really rare that grow in Rhode Island. There's wildlife habitat. They had them in North Carolina. That was a Superfund site. They put in an Atlantic white cedar forest. It had more habitat than any forest ever studied within 12 years. Species that they never even existed. Okay. So we have red cedar, white spruce, tamarack, which is a native. And I was thinking about where the chief was buried.
Up on the hill.
Yeah. A dawn redwood, which I plant because they used to be all over the world at one time. And then they almost were gone. There was 30 left. And a Chinese soldier found him when he was searching at a war. And he realized the village, it was about death or life. So you planted, when someone died, you plant one. If someone was born, you planted one. There was 40 left in the world. Now they've planted them around the United States. I've planted more than anyone, probably in the United States.
A giant redwood?
Yeah, it's a dawn redwood. There's 3 redwoods. You have
Not
the
a giant redwood, it's a dawn redwood.
yeah, it's from China, but they drop their needles.
Same family.
Oh,
Right. They're in one of the redwoods.
Sequoia.
those are on the driveway of North Farm, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah, they are.
Yes.
But I was thinking, you know, the native, the chiefs,
Yeah,
maybe his
They grow-
area, we could
they
maybe
grow like
put
this.
one in.
That'd be great.
Go like this.
And of course, the giant sequoias, Blythewald we have the biggest collection in the East Coast. I would love to be able to work with Blythewald. I've already done lectures there. They're amazing. They have people there. We have someone in this town. Do we have a tree committee, tree canopy commission or something like that?
We have both.
He's on that. I met this guy. He works at Blythewald. That guy could, I
I'm
want to
sure
find the
Chuck
committee.
knows.
Oh,
Okay.
It's Dennis.
Dennis.
Yeah, Dennis.
So I'm going to get a list of
Dennis
people I know I've met, and I'm going to get them on my committee, and they can help with the design. We got some real talent in this town. We'll go to the next one. Okay, there it is. I went around the ball field today because I had an email from a former athletic. Who's the guy on the Conservation Commission that was a famous athlete? Yeah, and he was died about the wall field. So I said, oh, we'll build a fence around it, which isn't going to happen because we've already made plans to forest that whole area. I also put trees in where else they could go around the edge of the parks or holes in the parks. That doesn't mean we're going to do that now. I'm just saying, you know, maybe down the road.
Well, we could
Yeah.
ask the rec board, do you you don't really mind if we were to continue planting up on the hill and stuff like that, right?
No, I'm reference about the ones next to the tennis courts, for the same reason that the basketball courts.
Yeah,
Well, that isn't the picture that we're going with.
right. We're actually going to use her picture.
Right. Oh, you mean the two up there? I didn't even notice them. Yeah.
And then, of course, we're going to plant the willows on the beach. We'll go to the next one. That's it. Okay. And as you see the park, there already is trees in that park over to the, I call it the northern side of the park. There's a lot of mature trees, and I've started an inventory, and that's what I do for my living. I make inventories of trees, and there's a lot of really cool trees. There was been a lot of good trees planted in this town over the years. I don't know who there was, but you
Chuck
guys,
Staten and his group.
yeah. I mean, there's really some nice stuff, even through the town.
Chuck, if you'd like the opportunity to speak.
I think the important part is that we're turning Burris Hill into a more livable area, a more area that more people want to be at, because it's very hot. There's a lot of sun, and we're going to add canopy. We're going to help the environment by reducing the heat, and be a more a fun place to be, and people in a place where it's cooler and you have some shade and you have a place you can put blankets down, and so that's an important part of this whole thing.
That's where I'm coming from. Anyone at the council have anything they'd like to add, please?
I just have a question. When earlier on you were talking about, bringing in the community and getting a lot of volunteers. Can you talk about what kind of work will be expected of the volunteers?
Well, it'd be great if we get it out in the paper or something, but it'd be great to have a planting day, like on a Saturday.
So does that mean people
Have the
should
trees there.
come with shovels?
No,
or
we
come with
could
rakes?
provide all that. Chuck and I own businesses. We could bring shovels and all the gear we need.
Mhm.
We just show up and it could be a blast, because when parents plant trees with their kids, it's a special moment. And I did it in Central Falls. We planted over 1,000 trees in that town. Let me tell you, it made a huge difference.
Well,
You know.
with school in session now, I'm sure it wouldn't be that difficult to send out an invitation.
Yeah,
And we might want to be careful on how many invitations we
right.
actually send, because
Well, we could start a list. We could, they call in, we want to be part of it and get,
well, yeah, we could start with that, but invitation classes, like maybe we'll think about it, but I think
Yeah.
targeting specifically a few groups of kids that may have an interest, or a teacher who's doing this kind
Yeah.
of work.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it would be productive to have 300 kids there.
right. We don't have to do that. And I doubt we'd get that. Maybe we could start a list and see who would like to be involved,
Now,
including the town council.
yeah,
I've got access to certain channels to promote
Right.
such things, and, I think it's the type of event and program that people would be really interested in.
Yeah, and I
getting
think
involved
Tara
with.
could be key in that, because she's direct, she runs stuff like that. And
Yeah.
if she could help me with some ideas, I want to do a lot of the work.
I'd like to just put this past the council. I think the volunteerism is great. I would like to see that for some. I really would like to see this as something that begins and ends. So I know DPW can dig a hole. I know that you have your spade tree,
Right.
your spade truck. I know that if Chuck,
We're gonna be there.
if Chuck says he's gonna do something, he'll do something. So I think the volunteerism will have its opportunity. But
Right.
I also think making sure that we have a beginning and an end to this
Right,
project.
Right.
My,
Thibodeau?
And so when we build a playground, can't have anyone under the age of 12.
Right, good idea.
That's built because of the equipment, because of the, the job that needs to be done. So when you are thinking of families, I probably would, not open that up necessarily, because you don't want to have a lot of people with little children running around not watching them with that kind of equipment.
Okay. See, that's why I have you on board.
I have some other questions. Oh, if Tara's done. I just didn't want to interrupt if you were still, okay. So once the trees are planted and established over the winter and, you know, come spring and then another like hot summer, what will be the plan to keep them watered and growing and maintained and all of that? What's the irrigation options or the access to water at the park? And how will we ensure that the trees get appropriately and sufficiently watered and cared for over time?
We have the spigot.
We've not done the greatest job of watering our street trees at all
Right.
times.
That's very common throughout the US.
Yeah, and so I just want there to be a built-in plan that's going to ensure that these trees
Survival.
get the best chance of survival and growth. So, you know,
Maybe we can have some people adopt a tree.
Yeah,
Say
so-
we're gonna water it.
So we have the spigot there, and the adopt a tree I think would be great. And instead of using the gators, I think if we use a 55-gallon drum with a 1/8 inch hole, that would trickle at pretty much the same rate. And we can tie that to the tree, and then the volunteers would pull the hose to the barrels and fill the barrels. Or if you want to go with the gators, I just think they're kind of small.
We do know one thing, water is the key to life. It's
Yes.
the key to trees.
yes.
And so I think that was great. You brought that up. That's like a key point, no matter what happens.
And then over time, just the general maintenance of the trees, because, you know, you do notice at that direction, at Burrs Hill Park, you know, there are areas where, you know, obviously the weed whacker has been used around trees and there's all of these marks at the base of these, you know, younger trees. And that's just so traumatic for them and does not ensure their
And that's another
long
national
life.
problem.
Yeah, so just that there, as long as we have a really clearly stated program and plan for the long-term care and keeping is
Right.
just so important. So we don't do something only to let it be ruined.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we have to have a clear watering plan, which we will implement when we're doing this, the planning for the trees. And we're gonna do a little circle around each tree. And the trees have to be staked, it's very windy. And it'll be a circle of mulch with a little rim of dirt around it. So the weed whacker will not get near the base of the tree.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to have.
And mulch.
And mulch each tree.
Good.
How about the town administrator? How do you feel about this? Anything you could give us? How you feel about the Arboretum? Is there anything, would you like to come and help maybe?
I'm sure.
I'd like the fire department, maybe the police department. When we did it at Central Falls, the fire department showed up and watered the trees with the fire truck.
So,
Mr. Trombley?
thank you.
Are you a fireman?
Huh?
No, has a question.
No,
Okay, go ahead.
Just for everyone who is here physically tonight, I believe that there is a diagram that was put together by the Parks and Rec Board Director that has a newer version of this with
Right.
where the trees are going to go, just so people can get a visual
Better
idea of what, because this is not totally reflected, although it's the same
Right.
general idea. So I'm curious, because we do have Parks and Rec program has a memorial bench program. I don't know if because of the new trees that anyone would like to purchase some sort of memorial bench, but it's just worth, oh, yes, Tara.
Memorial tree program and keep Judy part of it, so the town already actually has.
Yes, in addition to that, though, because we have the bench program, we set benches up in various areas. Would this potentially give us more areas to put benches in if it's like under a tree or something like that? So I'm just thinking that you said 40 feet between the trees
So that's kind of a
as a general.
professional general rule.
So
Big hardwood.
if there's room enough potentially for a bench, you know, sitting on a bench underneath the tree is a very lovely experience.
It's a
as
great
I'm sure- Yeah,
That's what this meeting's about.
absolutely. And
That
this-
map's not set in stone. that's why I wanted to just tell the town, do it, you know? We have the town historian too, and I was wondering if he could stand up and just give us a little bit, just a few minutes.
I don't think Mr. Trombley's finished.
I just have one more thought.
Okay, go ahead.
So in addition, kind of building off of that, would it be possible to potentially leave room for, in case in future, a future council could have the had the financial resources to do some sort of like fountain or some addition, because Arboretum, love it. If there's any way to improve that through, I don't know if improve is the right word, but I can picture a fountain
Yeah.
in a grove of trees would be a very lovely sight.
Yeah.
If there's sort of a like thinking not just of what the trees look like in 100 years, but also maybe where spots could be for like if there's an opportunity for future investment, that would be something I would encourage you. But of course, I defer entirely to both of your experience with trees. And then, of course, I'll turn it over to the town historian.
That's what I was thinking down the road. This is the beginning, you know? If you go to Blythewell, they have all kinds of art and things with it, so. And isn't there a garden club in town?
Yeah.
Or a garden? Okay, okay,
I think Mr. Weed, he's referring to you as the town historian.
yes.
So if you could come to the mic because this is being recorded.
Okay, I want to know, this guy, I've met him a few other times. He's really a brilliant guy and he's very, very knowledgeable. So I
Dave
love-
Weed?
What's that? Yes, he's amazing.
The-
Go ahead.
The first time we met was down at Mount Hope
Right.
on the newly acquired property of the Poconoke tribe. And Matt was kind enough to offer his opinion about the kinds of things that need to be done down there. And the tribe is working very hard with very limited resources to try to improve that property because they're very much in the mindset of creating an experience for people to understand how the land has always been here. Okay, so it's really about preservation, and Matt's going to be working with them over time. But I'll be happy to convey what we're talking about here tonight. I'll be talking with the Sachem and the Sagamore tomorrow, and I don't imagine that they have any objections to what we're talking about. If we were to build a 20-story hotel there, they would have something to say about that. But as we understand, this is the sacred Poconoke Royal Burial Ground in the land up above, and except for the 2 trees that you're talking about. And you're right, those are magnificent trees that are up there already.
Yeah.
But trees don't live forever. And we really need to think about, the next few generations there. So planting trees that can replace those trees would be very helpful. But anything that would create a more natural setting and something that's commensurate with the kind of tree canopy that was once here 400 years ago, I would think would be very much in line with what they want.
So we did reach out to our contacts, right, Ms. Baroni? To the tribe,
Yeah,
and unfortunately, we didn't get a response.
yeah. Well,
So
they've got 100 things on their list, so
I'm sure.
I'll make sure they'll hear about this stuff.
What I can add historically is there's never been any negative feedback for planting a tree.
Right, yeah, I would agree.
Thank you.
Okay.
Let's hear it for this guy.
Yeah, hey,
Also for the town clerks, that they do a great job. They helped me today. They came in early and helped, and they're always helpful. And I always give a call down there, and it's you guys got a great town.
is there anyone from the public who would like to, Ms. Avila? Come on up.
Have a couple of, and actually Robin Avila Remy, as of Brian Remy, former wife. So, you talked about the native input. That was one of the things I was concerned about. Like, I was wondering if they would like to request a certain kind of tree, just like man just talked about, because I think that would be really cool too, to make sure there might be some shrubs that they, that grew a certain kind of thing, but I'd like to really make sure we do that. But the other thing my question was also about protection. How are these going to be protected short-term from deer? Because they're going to be small trees, easily to, so we're going to How, that was a big question I had.
Do we have a lot of deer down at that park? Deer are everywhere. That's a good point. That's why this meeting was important.
Yep.
Because we're learning a lot. And so we have to deer proof. We can use stakes for deer proofing. These trees aren't small. We're gonna put in 2 to 2.5 inch.
Yep,
So they should be pretty good. They can scrape, the bucks will scrape
yeah,
to leave their scent.
because I planted that size tree in my yard and, you know, the branches are still pretty
Right.
low, like I had goats and they were up there. So, and then I guess the other question I had was, I know you're talking about weed in between. Is there a way to put like a ground cover that grows there so we don't even have weeds?
What do you use, Chuck?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know if we can,
Well, around the tree is gonna be
Gonna
mulch.
Mulch, yeah.
stuff, but I-
around each tree will be mulch.
We're gonna have to have, you know, people weed it once a year.
Yeah, because sometimes I've seen what they use clover or there are certain kind of low growing stuff that people can walk on, but it's ground cover. That was just my only question.
If you're on the committee.
Very good thoughts.
I am on the committee. I don't.
Yes.
Okay, how?
We'd love to have you, and hope you're there for the tree.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And that was the other thing too. If we want to have some kind of ceremony, if you wanted to have some kind of like, you know, like offer refreshments and things like that, we could cover that too.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Great.
Let's hear it, man. Thank you. Giving back.
What we did at Solms Field, when we planted Solms Field on Market Street, we wrapped the tree, we worked for the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and we planted 20 trees there last year. And we wrapped the trunk with a wrap that stops the mice and rabbits and we can buy that, we can do that. And once we stake the tree, I don't think the deer are really gonna bother it, because the branches are a little bit higher, so they should be fine.
Anybody? Ms. Thibodeau?
I just had a question. You had mentioned that you talked to Butch and Butch Lombardi. And so I just wanted to get his input because he isn't here. And I know that he is probably going to be the strongest proponent for the field itself.
Right.
So I just wanted to find out
Right.
what that perspective was.
I spoke with him a few weeks back when we were raising money for the lights on the spruce down at the beach at the park. And he didn't bring up any, I mean, I think he was possibly thinking of just potential future use. But honestly, if we plant trees where you proposed, you're not playing softball there. So
Right.
he didn't call me, he didn't reach out against, and I know him, known him my whole life, as well as, you know, many people in this room have. If he was against this, I'm sure he would have contacted us.
But I just want to know what you
Right. Well, he wrote to me. That was just an idea I had. That's why I just wanted to find ideas, you know? Your idea, my idea. It was just today, it came to me, hey, could we have a field of trees around it, even if we played wiffle ball or something? I don't know. But you're right. I think we need a row of trees there, and I think that's what people want.
Yeah.
In the group. So we got to go with what the group goes with. There was one other.
Anyone else from the public who'd like to come up, please feel
Come on.
free.
And while he's coming up, I'll just say thanks to everyone who has come and taken time out of their evening
Yeah.
to be here, even if you're not speaking, just to be part of this discussion is very important. So thank you all.
No. Parks Department? All right, so anytime I go down here, I have a little mooring right off of here, thanks to the good doctor. When I go here, this whole park is full of kids all summer long, right? Why are we restricting the access for these kids in this park with, like I see someone's worried about deer. Like, what happens when a bunch of 10-year-olds run through here? Like, how serious, like, is this?
Could you
like, gonna-
introduce
is-
yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Jared. I'm a town resident here and I
Okay.
have a little mooring
Yep.
and I spend a lot of time in that parking lot and I
Nice.
spend a good amount of time in this park.
Okay.
It's my understanding that this is a children's park. Where
There's a
there's like a
public
summer program.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So like, how is this? I haven't heard anyone talk about how this is gonna impact that at all. Like, I've heard about, like, I read in the paper about concerns about the clamshell for the bandstand.
Yeah.
But I didn't see anything there and I haven't heard anything here about like what's going on with, it seems to me like the main people, like someone mentioned sledding in the park. Like, this seems to me to be like a used park by the children. So I no one seems to be advocating for that. So I'm curious as to what. Because I know there's a
Do
new
you,
plan. on
do you
this.
connect trees with disuse or like, how are you?
I'm
we're
wondering,
putting
I'm wondering
shade-
about what the impact would be about having a bunch of kids around like new tree plantings.
There'd be state.
Strictly speaking, right? Even if they're staked, even whatever. And then I'm also concerned about like, this just seems to be an open field for the park department when I have observed it, which is quite often. So
Mhm.
I just want to hear from someone about like what that impact's gonna be.
I'd love to talk. I love to talk.
Thank you.
So it's to your point, it is a heavily, actually, as long as I can remember, has been utilized as a park for families, for all kinds of people. It actually used to have a softball field and a baseball field, and it had football, field goal posts. So it was the main field in town. But now things have changed. And as Joe has said, and so the use has changed. And so that baseball field is no longer utilized because our Little League actually works with Bristol. And so Bristol has a senior league field. So our kids are playing in Bristol because it's too expensive to maintain an infield. So the one piece, when I looked at the plan that they had come up with, was to keep some of it open space because of what you're stating. You have to have open field space in case a team needs to practice there. The kids need to have an open field space to play soccer or whatever, lacrosse. Someday we may have a rink that we put there for the winter. But the point that we can put some trees, because one of the things we lack there is shade. And so the kids actually need shade. And I think we all agree with that. But we want to make sure we put them in the correct places so that one, the roots don't uproot the basketball courts or the tennis courts, and they don't obstruct the views of the band shell. And if we do ever have the Co-op Festival again, or if we have, like we did the 250th celebration years ago, or any event, big event, we want to have enough open space to do that. So the plan, that isn't a good vision of what I see, but
Do we have a picture of the one?
but the other one, there is another one,
Yeah.
and that one is it's more like a letter P in my opinion. So it lines the basketball courts and it fills in the infield.
Right.
So it leaves really
A lot more room.
the outside, because again, sledding, Joe had said to me, oh, let's put some trees on the bottom of the hills. And I said, when you were a kid, Joe, and you slid down the hill and you went into the fence.
Right.
You went into the fence. We got rid of the fence because of that. Now you want to put a tree, so my kid hits a tree. So anyway, but we're keeping the point of the park as a community space, but we want to make it better because again, there really is no shade. And if you're there on a 90-degree day with 300 kids,
They're all under the
it's
trees.
torturous. Yeah, so no, we have done our best to provide as much shade as possible, but even the neighbors on the south, actually the neighbors on the south wall and the neighbors on the north wall will be very happy if we can keep the kids in the middle of the park instead of on the outside of the park, where they're supervised. So yes.
Thank you, Patrick.
Can we see a picture of what's being proposed now? Because I have the same right there.
Yeah, they got handouts. When you hit the head out, you can just grab one. She's got handouts.
I think Tara said the right words, that we're making it more use out of the park because we're leaving a lot of open space for the kids and we'll have some shade. And we're taking the shade area and we're kind of relegating it to the infield and along the basketball courts. So I think we're getting the best of all worlds. And a lot of it will still be open space for use.
And if I may,
Very good.
and if I may add, in terms of baseball fields,
Carol. That's okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
sorry, in terms of baseball fields, this one, as Tara has indicated, has been disused since I was a kid.
Yes. Yeah.
And we do have
Thank you.
Janetta Memorial Field. We do have the two ball, but we do have it, and we do have the two ball fields up at the pavilion. So we do have other ball fields in town so that there is no place to.
No, this is a senior league field.
Right.
This is the only senior league field in the town.
And the last time it was refurbished was a volunteer effort. And it was a volunteer effort and they raised $40,000. And as soon as those parents who raised the funds, children aged out, the field pretty much went back into disarray. It's about $30,000 a year to keep that field maintained. And that's on the low end. There was talk of irrigation. There was talk of lots of things at that time. And for the minority of use, the minority percentage wise of children that were using it and the costs associated, I was on the council. We didn't do it. And that's why that group raised the money on their own. And we said, God bless you and go right ahead. But we spend the money we spend at Pete's Happy Pavilion. And anybody who would like to sit with Ms. Thibodeau and realize what we spend and what she would like to spend, it would be $1 million a year. That's not an exaggeration. And she could take out paperwork probably right now on her phone, at least I know for a fact, and show you how easily $1 million could be spent on the recreation programs and facilities in town. Unfortunately, this has always been appreciated, but not so much in the heat. And as I looked at this and the use, and when we had to put up a tent for the children to be under, and Tara invites me every year to the last day, and I see the 300 kids and they're all in under the trees. It's at first you're like, why are the kids up there? Why are they over there? Why are they? It's shade. And I think this would be a great asset, and appreciate everyone's opinion. And if anyone else would like to come on up, Corey, please.
Just two questions. One is the backstop, the chain link backstop?
That's
and
coming down.
Is it coming down?
Yes.
Okay, and then two is, does the town have a plan to repair or refurbish the grandstands?
Yes, Ms. Thibodeau met with the trust, and the town manager, Mr. Sullivan, met with the trust yesterday. She actually was working on a proposal this morning. I met her in her office, and we're looking at the possibilities of what can be there. Sections could be a section could be removed, section could be repaired. So we're looking at how that fits in. Budget time's coming up. We don't have that much money, as people know, and but there is a public safety issue there, and we're going to have a solution come this spring. Hopefully we can maybe do it in-house. And if not, hopefully we'll be able to afford the funds. And I probably think that this would be a priority because of the safety aspect. They're deteriorating and they're starting to become a safety concern, and especially with the children there. So we'll be taking that head on this year. Good questions. Anyone else? Mr. Weed, you had your hand up?
Sorry, those stands were built in 1924.
Mhm.
They're over 100 years old, and they need some work. But it does offer, because if you're going to keep the stands there, that could be another concert venue. Okay, with people sitting in the stands.
Yep. People sit there now and utilize them. And they were donated by the Joseph Martin Trust. So it was outside of all of his relief work that he did for the needy in town. He made that donation, and there's a big bronze plaque there that I'm so glad always that it hasn't been pried off and sold for $30 worth. No, that's what I'm saying. It's still there. So I really appreciate that. Anyone else? Any members of the tree commission? Come on down.
I definitely want to support the idea of a copse of birch trees. And I think that the impetus to stroll in that area, in that expanse, is the opposite. It's what I want. to approach the park from Main Street and be at the athletic field is just a daunting experience. You don't want to walk through it. So I just want to encourage the impetus for strolling. And I guess that takes design. I don't know, but because I haven't heard anything about designing paths or anything, or is it just the planting of trees?
It's the planting of the trees, and we're going to look at the width requirement for the trees, and based on the location, that can somebody just take that picture off? Because that's,
I mean,
that's not-
everything I've heard tonight is wonderful. I didn't know this was going to be such an exciting meeting.
So this is as close as a rendition as we have now. And we're going to probably look at the strolling through the plantings as a natural
Park.
as a natural park.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But I believe a copse of trees is untended and something meant to be groomed.
Yes, yes.
I have one more question. So
Not
my
like a-
other request,
No.
my other request would be grass under the, like, in that area. So not any, not another so that the kids can utilize that space like we do all the other
What we
spaces.
probably would do is, I can envision reworking, because again, that is the diamond. So that's the sand that
Right.
was made of the infield and all of that. So we probably would have
Rototiller
to take some out and then bring in mulch. I mean, bring in the compost that we have and,
Yeah, so that would be my
put some
request.
topsoil in.
My request would be for the trees, the base to be grass.
Because right now it's kind of like,
Right now it's,
it's
overgrown.
it's crabgrass, I think. So my question to the tree guys, since we just brought up what is there on the infield, do we want to take a few test samples of what is down, 10 feet? Does that matter on what we're planting? Because I heard you with the list of, some like to grow in a swampy area, some like to be in a very acidic area. I mean, what do we know about the soil there?
Well, the soils are sand silt clay in New England. So if you look at that park or you go through, just take an aerial of Rhode Island, flying in like I do from California, there's so many trees. You can't, it's such a tree growing region. It's sure high acid soils. I'm sure we can do a simple test on the soils. Some sand areas grow good for trees, but that's a good point. We want to check out where we're planting, what's the soil like?
And then is it possible to enhance the pits that we're
Yeah, you do, but the
digging?
trees don't grow down 10 feet. Trees are very shallow growing. So yes, we could ding some out and bring some nice stuff in and plant in it.
Okay,
I think things would grow good there. I really do. But we should check the soils. There was a lot of things tonight, like he said, the paths, the future of the paths, what she said about there was a lot, this meeting was very successful.
oh, we're
Very
not done
successful.
yet. We're not there yet.
Well, okay.
But I appreciate
learned
the
a lot.
enthusiasm.
Could I ask on the feasibility
Please.
of Ms. Thibodeau's suggestion about the grass? Is that something that you guys could take care of or perform, or is
Well,
that
that-
outside of their?
That'll be us.
That'll be us.
DPW.
Okay, understood. Just wanted to,
I
thank you
think
for the
if
clarification.
we're thinking about 30 trees, is that correct?
Yeah.
So getting those planted, it's gonna be a big task.
Okay.
So maybe that's task number 2.
Yeah, soil after the fact.
And we will modify the root zone of every tree when we're digging the hole. We put in good,
Good dirt. Yeah.
yeah, we'll make a big hole.
Perhaps, as you did say, trees are best planted in October, but isn't grass, if I'm not mistaken, typically best planted in the springtime?
Fall and
So
Fall and
September, October is the best time of the
Well,
year.
Well,
Honestly, Mr. Trumley, that's gonna be a whole separate issue
Okay.
that maybe Rec Board would bring up in their future budget requests. I mean, to do grass correctly there, you're gonna have to take up topsoil. I mean, the sand, you're gonna have to bring in the topsoil, so it's not gonna be an instant thing.
okay.
And there could even be a possibility of sod because of the fact that the children are down there. So I think it'll be.
No, no, I,
something
I
we'll look at.
appreciate you. You don't want
but
to belabor
separate
a
from the
separate
two.
point. I
Yeah.
understand that. I did just have one other. I'll save that actually. I'll save that.
Okay. Mr. Bido? Yep.
So going forward, I know we talked about doing almost like a map out in the spray paint or some kind of visual.
Yes.
At the park.
Yes,
So I guess that would be number one,
yes.
before we planted anything. Number two would be budget.
So I spoke to Miss Avila, and she's agreed that around 30,000 will be acceptable.
So I just,
Even better, and I think the participation that I would like to see you sit in on would be that exactly. So what I'm looking for tonight is an official approval of planting trees at the infield of Burrs Hill Park. So that's the motion I'm looking for, and we can even take that motion now if someone would like to make it.
I'll make that motion.
And I will second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we actually have just enacted an act that it's official. We will be planting trees and we will be dedicating this in the memory of Bob Avila, and he lives on. And next, it's going to be another burden I put on Mr. Bido, but it's only gonna be for approvals. You guys need to sharpen your pencil.
Right.
Work on this. And does everybody in the room feel that this concept is a close way for us to go? Yeah, I think they're gonna be moved around. This is just a layout.
The kids can still play ball, because I see people throwing footballs around, hitting the ball, playing catch. So I just want to make sure there's enough.
Right, so this is over 100 yards. It's easily 2 football fields, and the length all the way along there is longer than a football field. So by putting the trees where we're proposing on the infield, you're leaving the entire outfield open. And for those who may or may not have gone to the COG Festival, the infield was actually not allowed until it became destroyed. And then that became where the beer garden was. So all of the actual bringing in the carts and wagons and people and activities were in this open area. Football practice, if needed to be there, is in this open area. So this is as good as we can get without infringing on the areas to leave open. She created this.
And to echo what Corey, I think, was saying, so the trees are not planted in like soldiers lined up in rows. There's some organic spacing and feeling to their placement. That's great.
So what would be next is a visual. So if Chuck and Twig, myself, if I'm available, Ms. Thibodeau, actually, whoever wants to go down there, what we're going to require next will be a spray paint overlay. So we would, where the tree would be, and then a circle around that we envision the canopy to be when mature, so that we could have a layout. And maybe if my brother's still in town, he can go spin and see if he's got enough room and walk through the grove and twirling. Sorry, I said spin. Yep, Tai Chi. So that's what we're asking of you next. The other thing I want to say is that obviously this should have been paid for, and I pushed it forward in a very aggressive manner of asking publicly, is there anyone out there who would like to do this for free? and no one came but you two, and the tree commission did come forward. And I think that's worth a round of applause, because when I met with you 2 or 3 times during this whole process, you kept telling me this needed to be done professionally, and I kept saying, we're not going to fail, because if we don't have that, that means we're not doing it. And then that's how Miss Villa contacted me, and then Chuck has come around and said, all right, well, we're going to do our best, and we're going to make it something to be proud of. And you've stepped forward and you volunteered your materials. And so I think that we, unfortunately, I kind of envision this as when you have the line of people and you say, oh, volunteers step forward, and everybody other than 2 people steps backwards. So I apologize for that, but we're going to get it done,
Yeah.
because I really think it's the only way we're going to do it, is to literally put a shovel in the ground and
Plant some trees.
plant some trees. So you have Miss Thibodeau's number.
Yes. Well, oh, I don't have your, well, okay, I want to get that.
Well, you'll get it. We have Chuck's number, and next thing we need to do is create a grid down there,
Okay.
and then we can,
Will the backstop,
I mean, not a grid, or, you know, a plan.
the
Right.
backstop, that just be a directive the manager gives.
Yes.
Yeah.
And actually, we can do that right now. Can I have a motion to remove the backstop?
So moved.
Was that on the agenda? Because I don't want to violate open meetings.
Yeah, I'll violate. Is there a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
If it's wrong, Anthony will correct us. If it's right, we move forward.
Okay.
So, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
If we have the authority to do that, I think it's in the area we're planting the trees, so to me, it seems to make perfect sense. But he'll correct us if I'm wrong, but Mr. Trombley.
For all tree
Yeah.
plan.
Yeah, the
that
tree
area
plan is to,
design.
To get
Yeah,
that, in order to get the visual where the trees will be.
and we don't want to do it with the trees there, because then it'll be in the way, so I think it works in.
So that would have to happen.
Yeah, we're gonna
Next
ask,
few, the backstop would have to be removed in the next.
we're
few
gonna
weeks.
ask DPW tomorrow to please create a time frame within the next 2 weeks to have the backstop removed, and they'll do it.
That's what happens.
That's right. He's not here. So is there anything else anyone would like to add? Matt?
I would like you to come up.
Oh,
Yeah.
boy.
We got a special blessing tonight for the opening of an arboretum in the town of Warren. I was wondering if you could read the poem Trees by Joyce Kilmer. I always read this poem whenever I plant trees or create places or go to lead a tree walk. Joyce Kilmer, this was a classic poem. We used to have classics. The poem. Yeah, you're gonna read this into the microphone, the poem Tree.
Here we
You know
go,
about that.
Kara.
This
Okay, everybody, this is the poem Trees by Joyce Kilmer.
Unrehearsed.
wait,
This-
excuse me, wait.
is my mother's favorite poem, and
See?
this is actually happening right
My
now.
mother's favorite.
You don't even have to look at the poem.
I do. I think that I shall never see a poem lovely as a tree whose hungry mouth is pressed against the earth's sweet flowing breast. A tree that looks at God all day and lifts her leafy arms to pray. A tree that may, in summer, wear a nest of robins in her hair. Upon whose bosom snow has lain, who intimately lives with rain. Poems are made by fools like me, but only God can make a tree.
All right.
I'll make a
Um,
motion to adjourn, Mr. President.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we've done monumental work tonight. Thank you.
Good job.